Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategy, stories, and insights. More loan. I'm Golightly, joined by Jonathon and Haddad. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. We are back, my friend, and I'll be actually seeing you this weekend.
I'm very excited. The
Mhm.
weekend will have happened. The
It's
stories will have been told.
I know.
But
Maybe we try and film one while we're there.
that would be cool. We could.
Yeah.
We could.
I think that'd be
We
fun.
could do it live and in person. That'd be fun. Not live, but we'll record it. It shouldn't. Yeah. Maybe we can figure out.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Just randomly go live and Brokers Are Best. We have the power.
Yeah.
We have the technology.
That's
But
hilarious.
we have a lot going on today. Sorry. We have the Broker Buzz, where we dive into the top posts of the week and from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. Then we have the sales pitch training, where John helps us become better salespeople. Then we'll wrap things up as we always do with story time with John. But first, a fortune cookie. I now have a specified container, so they are not just littering all over my desk, or whatever we end up deciding what to do with them. I was thinking, and here's a little thing, preview for Fuse. We're going to have the podcast booth, and I'm going to be recording a bunch of things. If you want to be on a little short podcast with me, or possibly Mark Summers might be making a guest appearance, and come stop by the booth, and I will have a container of a bunch of fortune cookies that you can pick a random one, and then you can give us your fortune. But our fortune this week is: there are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge.
Well, as you know, I'm dealing with a stressful moment right now, so that's cool. Yeah, look, you're right, and I actually love it because it is true. But I think the biggest thing for me is, like, not everybody knows, but the loan officers listen to this, right? But prior to me jumping on this right now, I have an absolute loan nightmare for one of my loan officers right now. Tommy kind of heard me going back and forth with some of the teams on the lender side, and it's not pleasant, right? You're really attacking, you're going at it, you're trying to get this client into a home, you have a disagreement, and they don't always go well. We have somebody sitting at a closing table right now, waiting. It happens. So figure out the situation, assess it the best that I can. And then now here we are. I'm jumping onto this and smiling. And I told Tommy, like, here we go. And I think you probably saw me turn that switch on.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, you saw it. Like, you saw me turn the smile on. And it is me to that point. I am trying to stay present here. Yeah. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to forget all of that. But it is hard. It is hard, but it is important to remember that what you focus on will drive whatever it is. And whether it's negative, you're going to focus on negativity. So now it's time for this, time for positivity, and that will be handled.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think this is different for everyone because people just think about things differently. And I think, unfortunately, more people are quicker to have that ceiling a little lower in their limitations of their mind. They just can't see past a certain thing, and they cut themselves off too short, opposed to just trying to expand the view and look out a little further. And because I find the further you're able to look out, the more calming it is, because you have more time to prepare for that. But it's just, of course, you don't always have sorry,
you're good,
you don't always have the time, and so it just sometimes you have to be quick, and you have to just be on it and be able to be whoever you need to be for the situation.
You are so spot on. And the hard part, Tommy, is as we get older and more responsibility gets put on our plate, the time becomes more limited. And so learning how to not stress in a situation for too long, right? Because of the time. But again, as you start to grow, as you start to get older, as you start to see life evolve, I do think that paradigm shifts in your mind. But hey, if you can do it now, if you're, not going through, you're not in that chapter of your life just yet, in that journey where you're early on, the faster you can accept this, the better it will be for you.
Absolutely. And we're in the 1 month of the year where you're a year older than me.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Almost exactly a month. It's fun. But let's dive into the questions of the week, starting with our first one. I have a client offering on a home with an unfinished ADU. It's attached by a deck between the ADU and the main house, but it's dried in. How will an appraiser view this? Will they make it subject to, or will the appraiser just not give value to it as long as it has no health and safety?
So ADU, accessory dwelling unit, is what it stands for. Very common in states like California, Florida, but they're becoming more common across the country at this point as people start to understand with Airbnb and other stuff happening. So I have become pretty adept at ADUs because, well, we've screwed up quite a few ADUs, Tommy. There's a lot of
mother-in-law suite an ADU?
There you go. Right? Is it? So it can be considered an ADU. So here's the situation. So there's a difference between outbuildings and ADUs, mother-in-law suites, all of the stuff that you're talking about, right? With that ADU you're talking about, number one, having the ADU itself does not make it illegal to do the loan. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is does zoning allow for an ADU to be added? That's number one. Okay. If the answer is no, that does not mean the loan is not acceptable. Fannie Mae now directly, Fannie Mae, FHA, Freddie Mac, they're all different guidance. I'm talking strictly Fannie Mae. That's what I assume you're talking about. Fannie Mae, even if it's illegal zoning, there is still an opportunity for you to do a loan with an ADU, even if it's not zoned legally, okay? You have to make sure that there's comparables in the area that have also sold with an ADU. The appraiser has to notate that it will not affect marketability. With this specific unfinished ADU, one, is there comparables in the area, right? If there's comparables in the area, that's a plus sign. Is the zoning legal? That's a plus. If there's a security concern, so wires being exposed, if there's anything that looks like the whole place can collapse, yes, the appraiser has to mark that as subject to. But also figure out how the appraiser is going to mark the unit. Are they going to mark it as an outbuilding or an actual ADU? How is it done with the county? Those are two big differences. So on a conventional loan, if there aren't any comparables, you're going to run into some problems. Now, here's the cool part about ADUs is even if you have to go outside of the standard limits for the appraiser when it comes to potential comparables like a mile out, you can go even further out. You can actually look at aged sales. It doesn't have to be even recent sales. You just need one to prove it. Any security concerns, any issues from that perspective, good luck. I would not recommend you setting your client up for that, but you do have an opportunity here. Just make sure you ask as many of the right questions as you can. Go to Fannie Mae's guidelines. You can look this up. Just type in accessory dwelling unit or ADU. It'll give you an entire list of all the things that Fannie Mae is requiring for this specific ADU and what you can tell and guide your client towards.
Awesome. Very helpful. Number 2 question. How can I use the borrower rental income she received if she never claimed it on her taxes? I know I can't go FHA. Please help.
Okay.
I need some income. Non-QM maybe?
So first and foremost, my question to you would be, did the client just get the property? If the client just bought the property where they can't file taxes, then there is still a way that you can use the income. Number 2, if the client got the property last year and hasn't filed taxes just yet, but they got it towards the end of the year, there's opportunity there for you to use income. The other thing is if they have had the property for a while, but last year they had to do a bunch of renovations. And for one reason or another, they couldn't list it because of all the renovations in the work. You also will have an angle there. However, if the client just flat out has a rental property, but has never filed it on their taxes and is just collecting cash every month, I'm just going to be upfront with you. Between us right now, don't write the loan. Just don't do it. You're setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting the client up for failure, and you're setting the lender and the investor up for failure. If the client's owned this property for a long period of time and has never filed taxes, why are they going to start filing taxes? They're only going to file because they need to get the loan. That's just the reality. Now, if they're supposed to file and they flat out just had no idea that they were supposed to file, that's a different conversation. And there's opportunities, but they got to call CPA. They got to do things by the book. They got to do it the right way. And the lender is going to question you. They're going to challenge you. And if your client does go and get their taxes amended, and now they're paying all this extra taxes, they're going to have to prove everything. It's not like it's an easy journey. So make sure it's legitimate. You know the questions to ask. Dig deep. Don't ask surface level questions and say, if you ask the client, oh, did you renovate it? They say, yeah. Oh, okay, great. Don't do that. You renovated it. How long did you renovate it for? Were you able to rent it but chose not to? Why are you not filing on your taxes? Why are you comfortable taking this risk? And don't you dare tell me, John, that's too pushy. No, it's not. You owe money to the government.
You don't mess with the.
And you're asking me to give you a loan. And this all gets reported to the government. So no, I don't take that lightly. So please stand your ground on stuff like that.
Absolutely. And our final question. Client bought an owner-occupied fourplex 5 months ago using FHA loan. How long does he need to wait to buy a single-family home? I believe he and his wife have a newborn and want a bigger place.
Okay, so I don't like these questions, and it's not because the question's bad. Let me be clear with you. It's because these clients are getting smarter, and I'm not saying your client's doing the wrong thing. Let me be very clear. This could be a real reason. This could be dialed in. But you now have a newborn. You bought the house 5 months ago, and if you have a newborn now, that newborn was born, you knew you were conceiving prior to you buying the home. So again, this is just how my brain works. For me, what happened? We have a newborn. Okay, well, not to please don't take this the wrong way, but if your child was just born, you've had this for 5 months, I'm under the impression that you guys were pregnant prior to purchasing. Is that correct? Okay, what's changed? What are you looking for now? There's way too many, and you guys know what I'm talking about, way too many YouTube videos on these life hacks and home buying hacks. Don't you dare sacrifice your license for one loan. So let me very much so start there. This is real. This is happening. And if you catch it, it is very important you cut this off and report it. Now, with that said, I'm going to change my tone here because there are real situations that clients run into. And if that's real and you dig deep and something does happen, we had a client, I hate even talking about it, but his wife passed away and he just had closed on this beautiful home like 60 days prior. He needed to downsize his house. He did want to keep it. He did want to just like rent it out. He just didn't want anything to do with it.
That makes I couldn't live.
That's what I'm saying.
You plan to no. I'd be.
That's what I'm saying. So look, basically, they just need to make sure the lenders So is there a timeline? I mean, yes, but is there really no? If it's something serious like that, no one's stopping you from a life event on doing something that you have to do. The lenders, you as the loan officer, need to protect yourself and protect the lender that's giving you this money. So make sure you have all the stuff that you need to have. And that way, if the lender does get audited, they can show Fannie Mae, Freddie, whoever it is, say, hey, we have a death certificate. I mean, this is what happened. We know, but we felt comfortable with this. And that's what's going to protect the lender. And that's what's going to protect you. So dig deep. Just reading that, I'm sure there's so much more context on that. So please, whoever asked that question, please know I'm not coming at you. You're obviously genuinely asking because you're trying to do the right thing. And we want you to not stop doing that. It's just with stuff like this, my eye immediately just goes up very fast and pay very close attention. I hope that helps and makes sense.
No, absolutely. It definitely does. And if you want your questions answered on the podcast, if you're an AIME member in the Brokers Are Best Facebook group, use hashtag BrokerPowerUp to get your question read here live on the air. And if you are not, you can scan the QR code in this ad and become an AIME member and learn about all the amazing benefits that come with it, including a free ticket to Fuse if you're an annual subscriber. So on the other side of this, we'll be back with the sales pitch train.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first. Couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com /membership. Your community is waiting.
And I'm waiting to become a better salesperson. John, what are we doing today?
Tommy, when I say sell, 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 what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Buy, buy, buy.
God, you're good. We would have been so good on, do you remember that game, or you remember that show with Wayne Brady back in the day?
Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah, dude. That's exactly what I was thinking about.
I love that show so much.
Me too. I love that show. I still watch the bloopers to this day.
After this, I'll remind you, there's a new comedy show out with Colin. Is it Moriarty? Colin.
More, yeah, whatever.
I forget how to pronounce his last name. But there's a new reality show where comedians are trying to be the last one laughing. So you put a bunch of comedians in the room and they aren't allowed to smirk or laugh. And they all have skits planned and everything, and they are just going after each other. And his was just
Colin Mockery.
Colin Mockery, that's it.
Dude, I love it. So he's my favorite. So when he does his 6 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news at 5. You know, so that's what I was thinking of. So Tommy, sell. It's not just a word, it's an acronym today. Okay. Because us as salespeople, we love acronyms. Who doesn't, right? There's nothing better than getting an acronym thrown in front of you. So we have another one for you, but this is one you use every day because you sell every day. And what I'm finding with the way a lot of loan officers have been selling lately is they forget to sell everything.
What's everything?
What do I mean by that, Tommy? Everything. That's a great question. So the S in sell is see opportunity in everything.
Okay.
So I want to give you an example. I was coaching one of my loan officers through a call, and the client was talking, very sophisticated client, engineer, very dialed in, knows when he's going to pay it. I mean, to the dollar. You all know this client, very, very put together client, which is fantastic. Grade A paper, awesome person to talk to on top of everything. The ideal client, everyone wants. We have a very rare rate and term refinance opportunity, far and few between in this market. It just makes sense for this client. So as we're talking to the client, we have products that track interest rates for consumers even after they close. And there's an alert that gets sent out to me, the borrower, everybody. So my loan officer is talking to the client, and he's talking to the client and talking about this rate tracker. And I stop him and I'm like, hey, sell the product. Like, the client doesn't know that this is not standard. Not everybody does this. I know that for a fact. So ask the client a question. So what we did is we stopped and we said, hey, do you know what the rate tracking tool means for you and your family? No. That's what I had my LOS. Yeah. I said, mute your phone. Hit mute. Mutes. We listen to the client. Client's like, no, what is it? So then we go and explaining, I'm so glad you mentioned that. With profiles like yours, what the data indicates is that the likelihood you refinance again is incredibly high, especially someone like you who's so dialed into the interest and paying this home off fast. I assume that's the main goal for you, correct? Yeah, of course it is. The client says to us, well, I have this tool. I'd love to make you part of it. And right now we're going to do this loan for you at this rate on a 15-year. When rates get to about 4.99, I think that's when it'll be worth it for you to look at another potential refinance down the road. What are your thoughts? Does that 499 sound good to you? Or did you have a different number in mind? Client says, no, that 499 sounds perfect. Wonderful. Do you mind if I put you in this system? All that's going to happen is you and I are going to get alerted when the interest rate comes out. If at any point in time rates drop to that number. Client says, yeah, absolutely. Y'all, if you use Arrive, inside of your Arrive, there's a rate alert tool that you can put on every consumer. It's already included in your bundle and in your package. That is how you make sure you sell the opportunity and everything. That's just one example. What about the weekends when credit unions and banks can't pick up? As opposed to just saying, I answer every weekend, I'm available day and night. Hey, what would it mean to you if, God forbid, something went slightly sideways on your loan, but you had the ability to get a hold of me at any point in time? Mute your phone. Make them answer the question. Why not? What would that mean for you and your family? Make them think about that. Here's, I didn't, do you think this is going to go wrong? No, God willing, it goes perfect. That's always the idea. However, you and I both know it's real estate, and there's about 5 different people as part of this transaction. Me, you, both agents on both sides. Then you had title companies and transaction coordinators. Rest assured, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure we hit our date on time. But because this is real estate, we know that sometimes things can move around, whether it's on me or somebody else. That's not the point. It's just when you need me the most, how valuable is it to you and your family that I'm going to be available for you? Perfect. And then you go and explain. And look, are they going to dive into everything? No, that's not the point. The point is you need to slow yourself down. Stop being an order taker. So the S in sell is see the opportunity in everything. Number 2, the E in sell is elevate every touch point. Every touch is a chance to educate a client. So let me give you a perfect example. The same client yesterday. I got on the phone, started talking to him with my hello. I said, hey, let me talk. Let him, talk to me, another person involved. It feels good for the consumer. I always feel good. And I want to make sure I'm on top of it. So I'm talking to the client. And as I'm sitting there, this client pays aggressively towards the mortgage. They don't like interest. I asked him, I said, how much extra do you pay a month? He says $1,000 extra a month on principal. Oh my goodness. So I asked him, I said, hey, do you know what a recast is? The client goes, yeah, I have an idea of it. Instead of saying, oh, okay, no problem. I sat back and I said, hey, just to make sure that you're not missing any potential opportunities, can you replay what a recast means in your mind? And the client starts telling me things that other people told him that are not true. He's like, yeah, so I can only do it once with the loan forever. And then I have to make one big payment of $10,000. Oh yeah, I'm so glad I asked that question. There's been so many different changes. And one of the places that I'm putting you in front of here is the opportunity to make sure you have the chance to recast. And here's what a recast does for you. So think about that. That turned from many loan officers saying, oh, okay, great. You know what that is, to me slowing down and saying, can you run that back by me? What does it mean to you? The client had it completely.
I think that's really important.
Completely wrong, dude.
Especially with ChatGPT and stuff now. People are doing research more and more. And yes. you need to be able to, you are the educator. So before you overeducate, just see, because you can ask that question, and if they give you the right answer, great, you can move forward. But if they don't, then you get to be the educator.
Tommy, and that's what it is. But you're setting yourself up to, exactly. You're setting yourself up to educate through questions. You're not just pointing your finger and saying, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do this. That's not education. It's hard for someone to be receptive to that. So when you sell, the E is such an important piece. It's elevate every touch point that you have. The L, lead with relevance. Sales is not about just what you say. It's making sure that you say things at the right time. That's very important. Plus the words that you use, take it even a step further. And the questions you ask go even further than that. I need some water, Tommy. All right, we're on fire right now. So it's really important that you start building a rhythm. Y'all, when I say this, understand it's just because I have seen and been in front of thousands and thousands of loans. It is very difficult for somebody to give me an objection that I've never heard before. Somebody could tell me they want to pray on it. Somebody can tell me that they need to comb their hair and they can't make a decision until they do that. I know it sounds funny, but I've heard everything. And so for me, when I lead with relevance, I'm so prepared for those conversations. I'm not giving anything generic. I'm really tailoring my response, and I have a really smooth rhythm on how I bring that up. So let me give you an example. Let's use the rate strike. Let's use the rate tool, the rate alert tool as an example. Prior to asking in the presentation, plant this inside of your calls on the introduction call or the first call. Some of you might send the application via email. That's okay too. But you're still having a call prior to the clients looking at homes. But sell that sale on the first call. Hey, one of the things I'd love to do for you is get you included in this specific program. Have you heard about what's going on with interest rates? Oh, I heard the Federal Reserve, the federal this, the federal that. You know, there's so much talk that happens. At the end of the day, rates are rates. You're going to have some variance between lender and lender. I think the most important thing is, what's the number for you and your family to make that decision to move forward? What does that look like to you? And then as you're building this rhythm, this is how all your calls go. All my calls have an introduction every time. You don't skip my introduction. I lead with relevance. John, I haven't been doing this a long time. No problem. Hey, my name is Jonathon Haddad. I passed a test that required 20 hours of pre-education in order for me just to have a conversation with you. On top of that, I had to get my license in your specific state. By no means was it easy. It definitely took time for me to get here, but it was such an important piece for me to make sure that I did everything right to ensure I put you and your family in the best position possible. Why can't you say that if you're new? Did I say anything wrong? No. Did you not pass the test? Did you not study for 20 hours? Did you not have to take your continuing or your education for the states? So when people tell me, well, John, you can say it because you've been doing it 13 years. No, I haven't been always doing this 13 years. So I've had to change the way I speak. Your rhythm is important. And the last but not least, lock the loop. The last L is lock the loop. Always leave your interactions with one step closer to the next goal. Always. So perfect example. We have clients that we have to follow up with, right? You're not always going to get every opportunity on the first bat. That's okay. Amount of loan officers, Tommy, that just say, all right, well, if you want to do something, just let me know. That's not closing the loop. That's not locking the loop. Instead, Tommy, I say something like this. Hey, you know what, Tommy? It sounds like we can't find that common ground on what makes sense for you and your family. And it looks like you need a little bit more time, and you got to make sure you run this by your wife to make sure the two of you are on the same page. Is that correct?
Always.
All right, Tommy, no problem at all. Now, next week, I have a Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday available. Between those 3 days, which one works best for you?
Tuesday.
Perfect. Now, I have morning, afternoon, and evening. Which time do you like the best?
Evening, please.
Wonderful. So, y'all, first and foremost, whenever I lock the loop on a potential follow-up, I always do the triplicate, is what I call it, triplicate. I always give multiple, 3 different options. Hey, what works better for you next week? Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday? Wonderful. Morning, afternoon, or evening. John, why do you do that? Because the amount of times I've been on a call where I've heard an LO, and even me, by the way, early on, where I'm like, okay, does the morning work? I can't. What about the afternoon? Shoot. Nope. What about the evening? Actually, I got dinner now. You knock it out up front. You're going to give me all 3 excuses up front? You can't. It's hard. Yeah. And then the next piece is morning, afternoon, or evening. Then the most important piece is right here. All right, Tommy, I have a 6 or 7 o'clock. I'll break it down to 2. Client will pick one or the other. Mm-hmm. Tommy, no problem at all. I'm going to send it into your email right now. You're going to get a calendar request. I just sent it. Let me know when you got it. Did you get it? Wonderful. Hit accept on that if you don't mind. Great. Tommy, can you do me a favor? If for some reason you can't make this call, do I have your word that you'll let me know so I can make sure I put another family in that spot if you can't make it? Y'all, it goes so far. Asking somebody,
family's carrying a lot of weight there.
And even deeper, Tommy, asking somebody for their word.
Yeah.
On the phone. I've had clients, and by the way, this is why I do it too. One, nobody wants to go back on their word. It is intense.
Yeah.
But Tommy, you know why I do it? Because the amount of times that people ghost you.
Oh yeah,
So,
sure.
so for me, when I ask this question, I've had people go, "Oh, wait. Actually, now I knew right away that you weren't going to take my call." That's okay.
Yeah.
But that's why I do it. And I do it in a way that's I'm dialed into the message. I craft it a very certain way. So that's how I do it. That's the SELL acronym for you guys. And it's dialed in. SELL is the framework. S is see the opportunity in everything. E is elevate every touch point. First L is lead with relevance. And the last one is lock the loop, my friends. So there you have it. Sell, sell, sell.
Love it. Love it. And you will never hear me say, hold on, I got to brush my hair. And we'll be right back for Story Time with John.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting-edge content we've ever produced, featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimgroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIME annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
All right, and we're back, John. The floor is yours for story time.
All right. So today's story is about owning your mistakes. So about 25 years ago now, 25, maybe 23, my brother and I played hockey and we loved it. It was absolutely something we would look forward to every single day. When we woke up, we would play street hockey. We would go to the tournaments. We would go to the events. And we had kids in the neighborhoods playing. We had a blast. My brother played goalie. I played center. And it was just a really great bonding experience between my brother and I. We played on the same team for quite some time. And as you will that have brothers out there, sometimes you get into some sibling rivalries and you have a lot of fun in those rivalries. And sometimes the rivalries include fighting. And they include maybe a little bit WWE, back in the day, WWF type matches. And as you're going through this process, you start to just bond and really grow a relationship. And my brother and I are unbelievably close to this day. Well, many years ago, my brother and I were so obsessed with hockey that we thought of any way we can play, whether it was mini hockey sticks, roller hockey, ice hockey, pond hockey, street hockey, park hockey, whatever it was, my brother and I were down. Well, we came up with this game called comb hockey. And what comb hockey was is you take, each of you have exactly that, a comb, and you have these bouncy balls. For those that remember the little quarter bouncy balls, I always had a bunch of them at the house. I used to love to collect them whenever we go out, take a quarter in there, and we had this massive collection. So my brother and I built these little fake, not even nets. It was duct tape that we put on the floor that were our nets. And basically, you could beat the crap out of the other person to try and score this goal. So my brother and I one day are sitting in our living room and we say, hey, I think it's time for some comb hockey. Immediately, I'm excited. He's excited. He jumps up. We each run to get our gear. And by our gear, I mean the comb of choice that we were going to select. We had an array. Got to the point to where every time we're out, we're trying to look for new combs, what kind of velocity we can get, How can I get the slap shot off the ground? So my brother and I come back, we pick our combs. Now, the way that my living room was structured at the time, on one of the walls was all glass mirrors, basically on one wall, very old school. And on this other side was just a standard wall. So my brother and I moved the furniture, we set the walls up, we set the duct tape up, and we began playing. Back and forth, just beating the crap out of each other. We're having a blast. There's laughter. My mom's yelling at us from the top of the stairs. There's water everywhere for no reason. Who knows why, but we're having fun. And as time passes, we're going through everything. And then all of a sudden, I take a slap shot. It goes by my brother with this little bouncy ball. I mean, I absolutely took a massive swing. You can only imagine the velocity you can get from a bouncy ball and a comb. My brother misses catching it. It goes behind him. I score. I'm celebrating. I can't believe it. I won. Jesse, I did it. Sure enough, I look behind there and there's a crack in the glass. Now, Mom, I love you. But for those of you that grew up in a foreign household, my mom was very petrifying. Okay. Let me just put it that way growing up as a kid. And my mom's 5'9". All right. So she's not a small human being. And so when you're that young, I was like, uh-oh. My brother looked at me. I looked at my brother. Well, here's what I did. I decided that was the perfect time for me to go visit my friend down the street on my bike. So, I looked at my brother. I said, I'm leaving. He said, what do you mean? So I'm leaving. I said, I don't want to be here for this. So I got on my bike and I went to my friend Danny's house. Went to Danny's house, and the whole time I was stressed out. I said, oh my God, I'm going to come back. It's going to be a disaster. I can't do this. So I'm at Danny's house, waiting. And usually my mom would call me while I'm over there. She doesn't call. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good at all. So finally I make my way home, and my brother had gone ahead and taken the blame for me. My brother took the blame for me, and I couldn't believe it. Now, here's what happened. My guilt obviously kicked in very heavily. And after my guilt kicked in very heavily, obviously told my mom and figured out everything else that happened. My brother and I to this day still laugh about the story. Number one, my brother is one of the most loyal human beings you ever met. Jesse, I love you. You already know that. He is my ride or die. I mean, I go to absolute war for this kid. And the number two thing is never, ever shy away from your problems. You need to face them. And the reason I share that story with you guys today is very simple. How many of you run away from your problems when it comes to your loans? Right now, I'm still going back and forth texting about that loan I talked to you about earlier. I'm still trying to get it done, but here I am smiling, ready to go for each and every single one of you. But guess what? I'm not running from those problems. Podcast or not, I don't run. I'm ready for it. Whether it's the real estate agents, whether it's denying out a loan, whether it's delivering bad news, I don't run. I did. Have some pretty good stories about them too. That just happens to be one of them. So ask yourself, what problems are in front of me right now that I'm not choosing to face? And when someone asks me, John, where should I start? Well, right there, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it. Have yourselves a fantastic day.
It was a great story. I have a younger brother. I can relate to a lot of that. Ours was baseball instead of hockey, but just,
Same thing. Same thing, dude. It's just war, man. Absolute war.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks everyone for tuning into this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor, hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content. Share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. Remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.
God bless.